will start to give you an overview of SkillsBuild, what it is, and why IBM have invested in this platform. And then Sam will go into more details regarding the actual platform. And once again, super nice to be here. I'm really looking forward to this competition and see what we can do together. So let me see now how to get to the next slide. Yes, so what is SkillsBuild for students? So SkillsBuild is a free learning platform for online learning. And for the students that we meet, or that may more often you meet, it's a self-paced, fun learning that will get them access to material created by experts, both from IBM and from other companies. And they also have the opportunity to earn various badges to show what they have learned and so that they can use on their CVs and so forth. You as a teacher, you will get various resources designed for teachers that will help you to use this in your classroom and learning environment. And you will also be able to track your students' progress and, if necessary, also have access to additional support from us at IBM. And why are we as a big tech company doing this then? We see goal 4 of the United Nations Sustainability Goals as one of the most important one. And as you probably are aware of, goal 4 talks about equal education for everyone. And I'm sure that you as teachers know this better than anyone, that education is crucial to build a resilient, equal and sustainable society. So IBM has made a commitment to reach 30 million learners by 2030 via our educational initiatives, which SkillsBuild is one important part. So up to now, we have reached over 1.6 million learners via SkillsBuild, and over 119 badges have been issued. And we have learners in over 170 countries. And altogether, if you count all this together, over 3.5 million hours of learning have been completed in SkillsBuild. So we see this program initiative platform as a very important part when it comes to contributing to the societies where we operate. So by that introduction, I hand it over to Sam, and I'll be here for questions, and good luck with the competition.
Thank you, Evelina. So I'm going to talk about the SkillsBuild platform as a whole. So this slide just gives you an idea of the type of content on the platform. So we're currently heading into our 3rd year. The platform was launched in May 2020, and since then the amount of content has grown a significant amount. So now there's nearly over 200 individual learning materials. So in that, SkillsBuild is broken down into 3 flavors: SkillsBuild for students, SkillsBuild for job seekers, and SkillsBuild for educators. SkillsBuild for students and educators goes hand in hand, as the educators is the teachers' version. So that includes courses specifically designed for teachers to take to assist them in the delivery of the SkillsBuild for students content, along with other features such as the tracking of their students' completions, along with creation of learning plans and channels within SkillsBuild. So I just want to draw your attention to the bottom right badge, so the purple badge, the AI Foundations for Educators. So that's a badge for teachers to take and to complete, and that provides teachers with the ability to then deliver lessons that go hand in hand with the top left badge, the AI Foundations badge, for their students. So it's designed that if you're a teacher who has never learned about AI, doesn't know what it is and needs to, you can prepare to teach your students. If you want to reinforce what you already know, it's a way to further your own knowledge as well as assisting your students. The platform as a whole is good for a couple of different ways, and a couple of different ways of how I've seen it implemented in schools. So it's designed as distance learning. It's an online platform that provides learning. In the pandemic, it obviously became apparent that students are having an increasing requirement to learn from home. So this can either be used as homework or to set extracurricular activities for high-performing students, or to use in classroom as it's most commonly used, with teachers using SkillsBuild to complement their teaching that they're currently delivering. So, and the two right-hand columns just show how the content on SkillsBuild is split. So it's split between technical skills and workplace skills. So the original design of the platform was to provide STEM education. And so we've developed that into technical. IBM is a technology company, so it makes most sense for us to deliver learning in technology. So that's why probably about half the learning of the platform is technology-based. And the other half is workplace skills. And there's a couple of other different skills that go into that. So we've got some really, really well-developed badges on developing professional skills, badges on explorations into mindfulness, and the new badge, which is the basic principles of design. So we're developing the platform. We're still developing it into this is how other things. And if your students aren't STEM inclined and they want to do some additional learning, we like to start them with the professional skills badge, because that's learning that everyone needs to undertake and everyone can benefit from that. And from that learning, if they enjoy the platform, they then might go, oh, there's this AI Foundations badge. That's really interesting. Let me take that. So it's a good way to encourage students into STEM and providing sort of learning that they might not necessarily be able to receive at home or in school. So moving on to exactly how you can move around in the platform. So to provide over 200 courses at once in a list format would be pretty difficult to overcome. So we've split it into what we call learning paths. So here's a couple of our learning paths. So when you go onto the platform, you may select sort of the artificial intelligence path, and then that will provide you with lots of courses and badges around artificial intelligence to sort of break down the platform. At IBM, we have what's called IBM Watson, which is IBM's own AI that we're developing. And we use IBM Watson in this platform. So when your students sign up, they'll be asked some questions on what are you interested in? And then it can use AI to suggest learning paths and badges and courses that it thinks that your students will really, really enjoy to undertake. So it suggests badges we think are relevant and learning as well. So to how it's all delivered. So I think a big problem with a lot of learning, having undertaken it in school and university, is that it's nearly all text and really all boring text. And as a university student last year, when I was having to do online learning, I found it so dull just being told, read these books, now read this web page. So we deliver it in a more dynamic way. So we use a mixture of mediums. So there's videos, graphics, as well as interactive delivery system. That's how I'd call it, which is the one on the right-hand side. So rather than just paragraph and paragraph, you hit the little plus buttons, and so you can see a bit more information, and so you can receive it in a slightly more digestible fashion. So moving on to more specifically about a badge. So we like the badges. We think there's an increasing importance in digital micro-credentials. And a lot of the content on the platform is in badge format. So this is a little bit of a deeper dive into what you can expect in a badge. So the Cybersecurity Fundamental badge, which is a very popular badge currently on the platform, with over 15,000 completions. So this one takes approximately 6 hours to complete. Now, some of the badges are shorter, some of them are longer. The Explorations into Mindfulness badge, for example, only takes approximately 2 hours. So this badge is split into 6 modules covering different aspects around cybersecurity. It's designed for all learners. If you don't know anything about cybersecurity, it's the badge you take to introduce yourself to the topics. So it covers things like threats, attack types, social engineering, and it goes surprisingly in depth. As part of my role at IBM, when I started about 7 months ago, I was encouraged to undertake a lot of the learning on SkillsBuild for students. And as a student not that long ago, I found it quite interesting, especially not having studied cybersecurity before. It starts to introduce sort of more of the economic and socioeconomic aspects of why people do hack. So it's really interesting learning, I've found. Obviously, not every student will find it that interesting, but that's just me. So what I didn't mention as well in the badges is that alongside the learning and the graphics and the text there's labs and learning activities built into the platform. So in the bottom right, it's just a screen grab of one of the learning activities which you take as part of the Cybersecurity Fundamentals course. So this is a real-time map of just all the cybersecurity attacks that are happening, and it encourages you to look at the scale of the problem as well as the types of attacks that are occurring. It puts it into perspective as a student and really actually is much more interesting and engaging than just saying 100,000 cyber attacks occur daily. And on the top right are two of my favorite badges. So there's the Basic Principles of Design badge, which is a bit different from STEM, but I enjoyed it a lot. So if you want my recommendation on where to start, I would say either the Professional Skills badge or the Basic Principles of Design one, or the Cybersecurity Fundamentals one if you want to start with IT. So on to our module focus. So with the competition that we've developed, we wanted to focus on 3 specific modules that are in SkillsBuild for students. One is digital technology. So as I said before, probably about 50% of the learning on the platform is digital technology. We think it's really important that students develop skills, knowledge on emerging technologies. So that's why we chose that focus. So the Explore Emerging Tech badge, I realize I've just said a lot of badge names at you, but the Explore Emerging Tech badge is one of the ones that introduces students to all these different techs. It was the first badge I undertook. Being an economics student and not a technical student, I didn't realize what these emerging techs were, and it was interesting to have it all delivered as these are what IBM, as well as industry experts, thinks are the focus of technology. So from blockchain to cybersecurity, AI, cloud, Internet of Things. And also quite a lot of the technology IBM is currently focusing on in terms of research and development. There's also professional skills, which I mentioned before. As I said, it's a badge which I believe that everyone can undertake and everyone can gain from. It's a great badge to introduce students to. One of the schools that I've worked closely here in England started with the professional skills badge. They started with that one and introduced all their students to the platform, as well as assisting the school in an area that they were struggling to develop their students with. And the third one is mindfulness. So this is one of the what I call miscellaneous categories within SkillsBuild. So not learning that fits into one of the other paths perfectly. I and Evelina especially believes it's an important skill to develop. And that's why we chose it as the third focus for you to consider when you're building your lesson plans.